Hello everybody, this is That Zoo, and this is part 3 of Sonic the Hedgehog 3D Blast. Part 3. It took me a while because I forgot what game I was playing for a second. If my voice sounds different, that's because I got a new phone. I still can't afford a capture card, but because I had a warranty on my phone, I got a new phone for free. But anyway, if you want to hear more about that, watch my update video where I tested it on Pokemon Stadium 2. Hopefully, I should sound better. I probably sound a lot different now. I probably sound a lot clearer and a bit more nasally, as some people say. But this is more of my true voice here, outside of on Skype. You know, if Skype, you probably hear my true voice. The microphone here probably makes me sound more nasally than I am. Yeah, and in real life, I probably sound a bit different. But still, this is more my true voice, I guess. So, and hopefully the video quality will look a bit better here. I can see on here it does look a touch better. But anyway, if you want to know more about that, watch the short video on Pokemon Stadium 2. Alright, let's go. Spring Stadium Zone, Act 1, Zone 3. Yep, Spring Stadium Zone. This is the pinball-like area of the pinball-like area of Sonic 3D Blast, and I'm in an infinite loop. Boy, does that sprite animation look weird. I was in a loop for a while. I like trying to do that, but that's the first time I got stuck in there for that long. That was a weird animation. Weird thick sprite figure. But yeah, it's the pinball-like area. I do like pinball-like areas. I like Spring Yard, Casino Night, Collision Chaos, and Carnival Night kind of sucks, but I like the idea of it. But yeah, and I like Spring Stadium as well. But there's one thing about Spring Stadium that I don't like, and if you played this game before and know my playstyle, you probably can guess what it is. Which will be apparent here, after I bouncy. This Spring Stadium is not backtrack friendly. You can see here's your first glimpse of non-backtrackable areas here, which actually sucks. And in Act 1, Area 1 is broken off from Area 2. Once you go to Area 2, you can't go back to Area 1. So if you go to a special stage, you can't reclaim the rings back in Area 1 once you go to this Area 2. Act 2 is a bit nicer, but it still segregates Area 1 from Areas 2 and 3. So yeah, I like Spring Stadium, but it's not very backtrack friendly, which again is counter to my usual playing style. Oh well, I guess the game's trying to tell me something, that I take too much time. But oh well. Well, if it wasn't apparent by the last 3 acts, I guess. If it wasn't apparent by the last 2 zones, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna go down this optional path here. You're not required to go this way because there are no enemies. There are no enemies. Yeah, there are no enemies. I don't know where I was going with that, but you don't need to go this way. It's just full of rings and a couple item boxes. But this brings us here to our gimmicks. The gimmick here is that there's these balloon bridges, and you're supposed to hop across them. And you may notice these spike things start to come up when you stand on them. But you can see the trick I'm doing. As long as you keep jumping, you will not get hit by these spikes, no matter how long you stay there. As long as you keep jumping, you won't ever get hit by these. So these spikes here are basically a non-obstacle. So it's just ABJ, always be jumping. Not always blowjob, but always be jumping. I know I have a dirty mind. I know I'm not the first. You're lying to me if you don't think blowjob's the first thing you hear when you hear BJ. If you don't think a blowjob is the first thing, you're lying. But yeah, ABJ, always be jumping. That's what it stands for in this case, this context. And over here we have a useless extra life, which is useless. And I got another useless life through 100 rings. But like I said, this side area is entirely optional. And it ends up with you getting into vulnerability, which is useful. You know, but that brings up a point why I don't like 3D Blast as much as the other Sonic games. There's not a lot of optional areas to explore other than small little side areas, you know, like in Green Grove and Rusty Ruins. All the optional areas are just small little side areas where a special stage was tucked away or a few extra rings. It wasn't like the other Sonic games where you had completely different paths and you could miss a crap ton if you didn't go that way. For example, Sonic 3 and Knuckles brings to mind because there are usually 2 or 3 paths that go throughout each act, and you miss a significant chunk of the items if you don't go with one path. And that also brings up why I like Sonic CD the most. because of how, even though it's linear, it's how explorable it is. Let me break it down for you. You're only required to go through the present of both Acts 1 and 2, and only one variation of the future in Act 3. So yeah, you're not visiting the other time zones if you don't time travel at all. So you're only contractually required to play 20 to 25% of the game, about 25 to 30% of the game. So yeah, in Sonic CD, about 75 to 66% of the game is entirely optional. You know, if you never time travel, unless you're very efficient, you're probably not going to visit the entirety of Sonic CD in one playthrough anyway. I mean, in the other Sonic games, it was feasible to visit the entirety of an act, but sometimes you got locked out, and I gotta continue. But Sonic CD, it's almost impossible to cover every inch in one 10-minute time frame. You can run out of time and explore, but your rings reset, so why would you do that? But yeah, that's why I like Sonic CD is exploration, even though it's linear. And I don't know why some people look at linear as a pejorative. If you don't know what pejorative means, find a dictionary. But yeah, but I don't know why some people think of linear in a bad sense. You know, some of the best games are linear. You know, Castlevania's 1 through 4. Well, maybe not 2. Castlevania 1, 3, and Super 4. The old 2D Mario games, and to an extent, I think Mario Galaxy was fairly linear. And yeah, the 2D, pretty much all the Sonic games, there's pretty much no exploration, but they're all linear, but they give you some form of exploration to play around with. You know, like I said with Sonic CD, they give you a lot of optionals, but yeah, which is fun and all. You may notice that these spikes come up. I'm invincible, haha. Spike cannons, I didn't mention that, but yeah. But yeah, here's our first chance at a special stage here. Now here's where the thing is, though. Tails is in this little side area here. I'm gonna go back up here really quick. This leads to the area 2 proper, but if you go on the spin dash panel, you're locked out of going back to area 1 and getting these 193 rings. There are less than 100. There are about 100 odd rings in area 2, so it'd be more efficient for me to go for Tails here, so I can recollect these rings. I'll get Knuckles on the next stack, so you gotta make a decision here if you want to go for Tails or ignore him. So I'm gonna go for Tails, and I'm gonna backtrack after the special stage here. But Tails is special stage 5. Oh, that was a bad idea. Bad show. But we're going for the purple emerald here. You may notice here, I didn't notice this before, but you may notice the life counter in the bottom left corner. This is one of the few special stages where you can actually die. You know, in other Sonic games you would just exit out if you failed. But in this one you can actually lose a life. If you have 0 rings and you hit one of these spiky things, you'll actually lose a life and be booted out of the special stage without the emerald. So that's a double. Of course, if you don't have the required number of rings at the waypoint, you'll just be booted out. But if you hit one of those spike things while I have 0 rings, you will lose a life. And I found that out just messing around. But yeah, we got the SBO purple emerald, which you can see flickering in and out. But yeah, that's odd, methinks. So if you're not careful, of course the Genesis special stages are easy. But if you get a bad start like I did, I almost botched that right from the start. There. If you're not careful, you will lose. You will just get booted out of the special stage minus a life. So yeah, that's a bit something. That's kind of weird. I mean, if you're going to lose a special stage, you might as well do it in spectacular fashion. So yeah, we're going to go backtrack through Area 1 to clean up the rings, as if you don't know my plan by now. So yeah, it caught me off by surprise, because I was just messing around, and out of all the times I played this, I didn't realize that the life counter stayed with you in the special stage, because you may notice in the other Sonic games, the life counter does not go with you into the other inside the special stages. You know, Sonic 1, 2, CD, 3, and Knuckles, you won't see a life counter there. So caused me to experiment. So when I went to die, I actually got booted out and lost a life. So yeah, learn something new every day. Experimenting. That's always fun. So grab that. That's a level up from a regular shield. So yeah. I do have another story pertaining to special stages, but I'll do that when I play Knuckles in Act 2. But yeah. So we're gonna get through all these rings again. I know this is probably boring to watch, but I'm OCD, dang it, I must get everything. I'd probably be a good ring attack player, you know, if I was playing on the Sonic Center. I see you, rings. I see you mocking me. I see you. So I'd probably be a good ring attack player, because I like to get all the rings. Point attack, I don't know, but ring attack, definitely. Because I'm OCD about that. I probably know the locations of all the rings in the 2D Sonic games, but don't quote me on that. I know where lines of them are. I don't know, there might be some strange rings out there somewhere. Speaking of, we're gonna come to 2 strange rings here in Act 1 here, and it'll boggle your mind, really. And yeah, and it's not critical, but it can throw you off guard if you don't notice it, because it threw me off guard when I noticed it. We'll get to that. We'll get to that here in about 4 or 5 minutes, maybe 3 or 2. I don't know. It depends how much I feel like screwing around, but we'll get to it. So we completed our lap around this optional area. So we're gonna go back to where we're supposed to go. My commentary's starting to go to crap right now, probably. I'm not very good at talking with myself, apparently. So I think I got everything. Oh yeah, I can't get those 20-odd rings back there at the very start of the act. Forgot about that. So I'm gonna be short a few. So let's go to Area 2 now, shall we? Come on, get up there, Sonic. Don't be a jerk. Spin away! And yep, we're stuck. We can't go back. No matter how hard we try, we can't go back to Area 1 now. We're locked into Area 2. Yeah, that sucks. There's a spinny continue icon. I gotta continue a while ago, so I'm banking more. And these areas will become a bit annoying here. These areas that are angled. You know? It's not supposed to go at an angle! Harkening back to those old catchphrases like that. I'm so cool. But there's Knuckles here in Area 2. I'm gonna ignore him. I'm gonna get him in Act 2. Yeah, but this is a little shortcut, though. You can go this way. It's a little shortcut. But to get 2 of the enemies, you need to go this long way over here. Well, one of them is only necessary to go this way. That one. The other one you can get by going backwards through the shortcut. So, screw you. You may notice I skipped some rings on the springs. That's because I know there's a continue icon above them. So I'm going to wait till I build up my Flicky army to 5. So I can get those continue icons and the rings. So yep, that's where the shortcut comes out. Now we're coming up to the ring screw up here. After I get these dangerously placed rings, which really aren't dangerous since you just have to ABJ. Here. Come on. Come on, give me the ring. Give me the ring, please. Thank you. Now I'm gonna get rid of this enemy first. Just because it might wander over here. Okay, here we are. Look in front of me. You see no rings, right? Now look at my ring counter. 227, right? You clearly see there are no rings in front of me. Now watch my ring counter as I go across the seemingly empty space. I just got 2 rings by picking up nothing. Yeah, that's right. There are 2 invisible rings here. That's right. That was a mind screw the first time I figured that out. Yeah, which was just really right. I was doing a test recording with my new phone on Sonic 3D Blast, and I just happened to load in my data, and I just happened to notice that just 10 or 15 minutes prior to starting to record. So that was kind of a mind screw, because invisible rings, Those rings are kind of important, you know. If you don't have any, you're gonna die. So yeah. But there's only 2 invisible rings there, and there's a couple right next to it, but you never know. But yeah, hopefully there are no more invisible rings around. Kind of threw me for a loop. That could be a good secret, though. You know, they did something like that in Sonic Adventure 2 as well. You know, in Sonic Adventure 2, they started to do the rankings. You know, you got a rank A through E when you beat a stage. A being the best and E being the worst. But there's a catch, though. All the ranks have a par score, and if you reach that limit threshold, you get that rank. But there's an alternate way. A rank, of course, has a high score threshold, but you also get an automatic A rank if you get all the rings in a stage, which is very hard to do. On some stages, it is feasible. You know, on a couple, you just gotta make sure not to get hit and to explore every little part. But the developers must have noticed that. Hold on a second. Yeah, 269. Yeah, I'm so mature. But yeah, I want to finish my thought here. So sorry, Sonic's gonna be tapping his foot here. So the developers must have realized that, designers must have realized that, because they on most of the stages they place 1 or 2 rings in an area where you cannot possibly get to, or is very hard to get to. So yeah, so they make it pretty much nearly impossible to get an automatic A by getting all the rings. Which they must have realized that. So yeah, fly away! And guess what? I took too long. The game's telling me to hurry up. Well, screw you, game. I can take as long as I want. I'm driving this pony. Act 2. Act 2 is a bit, like I said, Act 2 is a bit nicer on the backtracking, but still. Well, technically, it locks out Area 1 still, after you go past it. So I guess it's not nicer, it's the same amount. But Area 2 and 3 are still connected together, so I guess it is a bit nicer. Maybe. I don't know. I forget what my thought was. That's what happens. I get talking on something, and I talk about something else, and I forget what my original thought was. I'm so scatterbrained. Yeah, Scattergories getting ready for the action, yeah. I had Scattergories on the PC, and they had that cheesy announcer. And you can actually play it with yourself, which I play Scattergories with myself a lot, because I have no friends. Really. I'm pretty much the only one I can trust in this town. Other than my cousin, but I hardly ever get to see him. And my sister lives in a different city, so yeah. I'm pretty much the only one. I'm pretty much solo 90 to 95% of the time. Which sucks. But I'm not here to grovel and complain. I'll do that on my vlogs. But here's another gimmick they introduced in Act 2. These little poker things. They reside in these dark holes here. If you go over them, they'll try to poke out at you. You can clear them with a jump, but you gotta be careful, though. Because if you're just running, even if you're running under speed shoes, they'll still poke you. So if you want to make sure to get over them, you gotta jump over them. But there's a point near the end of Act 2 where they become a bit of a pain, and I'll probably grumble when I get to it. Here, and since I'm going to be backtracking, I'm going to go through it twice. Because I'm a masochist like that. Yeah. So there's a invincibility over here. That was a homing shield, but oh well. Invincibility works. It's already have a shield. I can just run into you. I don't have to worry about the spikes, and he was doing pirouettes. It's lovely. You would bet you're trying out for the dance team. My commentary's starting to go to crap. Running out of things to say. So, useless extra life. Yes. Because I can't carry more than 9 and I keep getting them anyway. So, yeah. You know, let's upgrade to our homing shield. I always like this little area for some reason. You know, this little big area. Little-ish big area with these floating spike balls back and forth. Because if you're rushing through and you're not careful, you'll get T-boned by one of these. Now, for some reason, I like that area. So let's go across this point of no return. We can't go back to Area 1 anymore. And I'm gonna break this for no reason. Just because. And more angles, which aren't supposed to be going at. And the speed shoes are just bounce me around even more. The thing with the speed shoes is that they bounce you further off these springs, too. But you may notice here, if I can go back up there really quick, after I get these rings, the bumpers make different sounds depending on how they're situated. For example, these make a lower pitch sound, and these ones on the angled surface make a higher pitch sound. And the bumpers are just bumpers. And you can see down here, both Knuckles and Tails are down in this little crevice area down here. We're gonna go back here and visit Knuckles after we clean up all our rings. So yeah, keep him in mind there. Buster Brothers these balloons open. Buster Brothers would be a good reference here because they bust open balloons. So it's just springy, get our ringies, destroy our enemies. That kind of connotation of words doesn't work for all words, I guess. Let's go. Get our stuff. Buster Brothers you open. And there should be another shield over here, but since we already have a shield, no, I was thinking far ahead. I'm thinking in Area 3. Well, there's an invincibility, which we might need. Whoa, dang it. See, it's death. That's why I hate isometric 3D platformers. It's these deaths, so you don't know where you're going to land sometimes. Partly the camera, too. So let's break this open. Even though this is a spin dash panel, it's not a point of no return, because there's one on the other side here, too. So you can still go back. And they had to let you do that, because if you missed an enemy, well, you'd be screwed. So they have to allow you to go back, I guess. Because there's 3 areas in that first section, there's going to be 2 over here. Well, if you can't count, I guess. So yeah. Ooh, there's a continue token up there I need to get. I need more flickies. Now, what kind of name is Flicky anyway? Where did they come up with that? What does Flicky mean? Did they flick you or something? I know they're pretty much birds, but Flicky? And outside of Direct Dimension and 3D Blast and a separate game called Flicky, you know, there's really not a lot of mention of flickies, you know? Unless you want to count the little bird things in the 2D platformers that pop out of some enemies. Well, Tails gets flickies in his super form in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so there's that. But flickies aren't really mentioned a whole lot anymore. Which I find kind of saddening. Oh well. Getting worried about video games. Yay. Now here's a tricky platforming part. You have to jump up these 3 balloons up there. This usually takes me quite a few tries, but I got up here on the first try. I'm glad to do this again because I'm going to be backtracking. There's a shield up there. Since I already have one, I don't need to grab it. Screw you. Crab meat. There's a continue token I can't get. So we're getting close to the end of the act here, but like I said, we're going to backtrack because that's what you come for. You come for my witty commentary and expert gameplay, but you stay for the backtracking. I'm sure 0% of that is true. But here's what I hate. This little surface is angled, so you have some momentum going downwards. And you may notice these dark spots here with those pokers. So you gotta be super careful on this here. And be careful not to get too close to that bumper because they'll bump you into the pokers. Yeah, 269. Poker? I barely knew her. Ha 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 ha. I sounded like the Count. Heh. 1 bat, 2 bats, But yeah, we're at the end of the act, so that means backtracking, the best part. Jump over you. Screw you, I can speed run this now. Well, maybe not, because I keep bumping into things. Bumping bumper balls, bumper boats. Bumper boats, that reminds me of Roller Coaster Tycoon. Roller Coaster Tycoon's a fun game, man. I don't have a PC anymore, and my Roller Coaster Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon disc are at my parents' house. Maybe the next time I go over, I'm going to have to bring those along with me. Because I'm itching to play some Roller Coaster Tycoon, and there's no ports of it on any consoles as far as I know. Roller Coaster, there's Thrillville. Wait, Thrillville is not the same as Roller Coaster Tycoon, even though Thrillville is just basically Roller Coaster Tycoon with mini games. There's just a lore about Roller Coaster Tycoon. I don't really care about other Tycoon games. I tried Train Simulator, Lemonade Tycoon, just an allure of Roller Coaster Tycoon that I like. You know, it's kind of odd. And I kicked butt at that game, too. I completed all the scenarios, so I'm gonna lose my shield anyway, so not a big deal. I completed all the scenarios and the bonus scenarios. I kicked butt at that game. Anyway, yeah. I'm gonna tell you my other special stage story now. We're gonna pay Knuckles here. We're gonna go for the Gray Emerald, Emerald 6. But yeah, Chris of RetroCore here. You know, I'm part of the RetroCore podcast where we talk about retro games. Speaking of which, we're going to record a music show and a regular show this week here. So if you want to pay attention, be sure to check the links here. I always link to both the music show and the regular show in my descriptions. But yeah, we're going to be coming up with new shows this week. But yeah, Chris said these special stages hurt his eyes. And I can see that. It is kind of jarring. You know, if you're not focusing on Sonic, because Sonic's kind of fixed, the rest of the stage can kind of make you kind of hurt your eyes. I can see that. But yeah, we got the 6th Emerald, the Silver Sonic Gray Emerald, or the Storm the Albatross Gray Emerald. But yeah, but I kind of laughed when I heard say this hurts Chris's eyes, because I'm supposed to be the one with the bad eyes, dang it. I wear 1/4-inch thick glasses, and I haven't been to the eye doctor in 2 years, so they're probably going to be 1/3 inch thick now. But yeah, I can still see what I'm doing. Imagine if my sight was perfect, though, how much I would do at these games, because I don't want to play that card all the time, but I think I've attributed some of my faults to my eyes not being perfect. But yeah. So yeah, I'm bragging about a handicap. How low have I stooped? Well, I'll take it. I'll take being the worst at something. Being the worst of the worst is the same as being the best of the best. If you're not first, you're last, as they say in Movie Land. Ricky Bobby. I don't really watch a lot of movies. I should watch more movies. I started getting into watching movies at the end of last year. I saw Wreck-It Ralph and Skyfall back to back. I know a while ago I said I would talk about them at some point. I really should. I mean, I have my thoughts and opinions on both of them. And Skyfall being my first Bond movie, it's probably I think it would be somewhat interesting to hear from a perspective of somebody who's never watched a Bond movie before. That is just me personally, but I don't know, I have to reformulate. I might have to watch them again. I might have to get the DVDs when they come out and rewatch them so I can refresh myself. Because even though I like to think I have a better than average memory, my memory can kind of suck sometimes. If I apply myself, I have better than average memory. If I'm just doing something for fun, or if I don't really need to be hyper-focused like I do for something like school, I probably won't remember a whole lot. Because I know I studied for last semester, I had a psychology class where it was just tests. You just got graded on tests, no homework. So when test time came, I would just cram for the exams. And because of that, I still remember at least 50 to 60% of the material I learned in that class. Because I just super crammed, you know. But something I did yesterday, or last week, because I wasn't really trying to apply myself, I don't even remember what all I did last week. I know I got a new phone, but that was probably the highlight. I can't remember all the other mundane stuff. But I guess that's how the brain works. Your brain remembers the weird or more life-impacting stuff, rather than the mundane stuff that everybody takes for granted. Come on, Sonic, get up there. I'm getting away from video games, aren't I? I should really focus on video games, aren't I? But I don't know. Do you guys like my random talkings of random topics? I don't know. I should use my blog more for when I have these sort of ideas. As I come up with these ideas all the time at school at college. College, they're both the same thing. Don't know why I have to differentiate the two. Well, you can look at my profile. I'm 19. I'm graduated high school. Well, unless I was stupid, but I'm not a dum-dum. At least I don't think I'm a dum-dum. some people might digress. So I'm impatient. Oh well. What was I talking about? I forget. So yeah, we're gonna go back to the end of the act now. Yeah, well, we're at the end of the act. That's right. Finish. Yeah. Fly away! And I took too long again. Thank you, game, for rubbing it in my face. Now the boss act. This boss can be kind of annoying. I found it kind of annoying when I first played. When I first played this game way back when, I lost all my lives here. I got stonewalled here. And my continues. I just lost everything here. But yeah. What you're supposed to do is that you're supposed to wait around for Robotnik to come down. But if you're impatient, you can bounce up here and get faster hits on him. It's more risky, but you can beat the boss faster. Yeah, that's speedrun tactics. But you may notice if you hit him while you're up there, he just drops down immediately. You know, it's a speedrun tactics. I don't know. Like I said, I had the most practice speedrunning this game, so I know a bit of tactics. So yeah, let's save the game here. I went off on random tangents again, like I did for 3D Blast. I mean, on Rusty Ruins. So yeah, I'm gonna save the data here. Saving the data. Saving the data. Saving the data. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I shall see you guys next time. I need to stop doing that. I'm not Nintendo Caprice, son.